Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI live noding. In this episode, we're gonna do something that's pretty simple and easy, but I know that this is gonna be the beginning of a bigger project. Basically, it's gonna involve grease pencil and skin modifier, and I kind of wanna emphasize that both the grease pencil and skin modifier are kind of powerful feature of Blender that maybe they are not seen together um, as much as it should be. But anyway, I'm gonna get started. So, grease pencil, top view. Let's just create perhaps like a scribble of in a letter, right? Basically, you want to type some kind of letter to someone, and then you just gonna write something like this. This is kind of like the simplest representation of letter. We're not writing any alphabet, and currently I'm writing from left to right. You can also write from right to left. I don't know, maybe in Arabic they do it like this, or from top to bottom, like in China in the old school time, or Japan or Korea, top bottom. I don't know if there's any language that's writing from the bottom to the top. Maybe it's a programming, maybe code right from back to the front. But anyway, that's the main idea. So let's just do it simply. So I'm gonna write like a scribble letter. So dear Tom, etc., etc., paragraph, and then thank you, and like this. Yeah, that's it. That's our scribble message. Okay, this is grease pencil scribble. And once we're done with it, we convert it into curve, Bezier curve. And this guy, we just unlink it for now. So we actually have this curve. Gonna put it back to layer 1, and we're gonna hide the grease pencil for now, and we just end up with this curve. And we have done this before with Sverchok and grease pencil, so you can source it to Sverchok in many different ways, but for now we just keep it simple and just source it as a curve. So objects in MK3, and the output is gonna be, right away I'm gonna use the new skin measure. So this node is really powerful. It's developed by one of Sverchok developer, and just by plugging multiple edges into this guy, we're gonna generate some result. You will see real quick once I turn on live. And actually I need to source this guy first, so get selection. Now suddenly the grease pencil curve become a real 3D object. Okay, that's because if you check in the outliner, each one of the strokes is now become this alpha, and this is currently still a single object, but if you really want, you can use a separate loose part and separating each of every stroke into different objects. We're gonna take a look at that later. I think it's a good idea just keep it a single object, and you have control over the general radius X and general radius Y. So if I maybe make this smaller, what you can see is it's become a flat. So you might not notice that, but skin modifier in Blender, which is this guy, is being generated live by Sverchok. So this guy, this is part of Blender modifier, of course. Skin Modifier can actually have a weighting in the X and the Y radius, so it doesn't need to be rounded. So normally you look at the Skin Modifier and it looks like this, but you can actually have some kind of thickness and thinness in different directions. So if you want to make it flat, let's say if I make this 0.2, this is like a flat, right? This is really powerful actually, really powerful. And then I realized that in recent version of Blender, the Skin Modifier is much faster, and even faster if you have a single object, but you can have like thousands of objects and million of points, and this still does it like really fast. So now we have something that's more like a letter, except that we need a paper. SY. So this is one of my ideas with grease pencil, but there are plenty, and I found that the grease pencil itself, let me do something real quick. Let's hide the grid. Grease pencil is actually more powerful than Maya PFX, but Maya PFX has been developed like so many years to do like crazy stuff. Maya PFX is like you can draw like a curved strokes, but that curved strokes can be turned into millions of variations because it has like thousands of attributes, and really developers work on it for many years, and maybe they haven't developed it much recently. I don't think I'm not gonna think too much about it, but grease pencil is like so powerful, it's so raw. What you can do with grease pencil, you can do it like you can do much more with grease pencil than PanFX for Maya, depending on the how the developer gonna or the artist gonna use it. So like this strokes currently is just a boring straight line. We can randomize it using maybe randomize input vertices. You already know me doing this many times, and just not in such a way. So you can randomize it. You can also use like noise. I have not tested, but noise sometimes it's nice. Vector noise and vector math here. Vertices, and just add them together. This guy goes in there. This guy goes in there. The output can go to this guy, and that's a noise. And noise works in a funky sort of way. It's currently it's making this squiggle. You can of course want to control the power of the noise, and that's usually I'm doing it using a vector math, another vector math into, I think it's into this guy, and then multiply scalar. It's kind of adjusted there. We can see though at the moment the noise is like very it's applying it to all the points. So by default, of course, noise is very much like a water. It's like a water flow. Yeah. But very interesting nevertheless. In fact, if you make like a lot of straight lines, you will see how the noise influence the lines. This is one of example. It's a Blender noise. You can use standard Perlin, Voronoi as usual, and the new Perlin, and then cell noise. Cell noise sometimes giving really funky result like that. It's almost like a pipe kind of design. Or it's a it has some kind of pattern, but it seems to go from -1, 0, and 1, and then in a very quick kind of way. I know that Voronoi has a lot. Cell noise, Voronoi. In this case, Voronoi is a bit too funky, but cell noise, I quite like this one. You can of course further randomize this. Oh, actually that's kind of plug into the wrong thing. Okay, that's a that's a randomized. It's a random noise and this cell noise working together. Very unusual kind of letter, and that's still cool. The cool thing is it can be with a skin modifier and this Sverchok setup. You can have it as a multiple segment or just a single segment. It's of course harder if you're using a multiple segment, but you can do a lot more. Cycles, let's do something funky. Write it in what color? Blue. Make it glowing. Emission, blue. This paper. Yeah, I guess that's pretty cool. Yeah, but I decided, I think skin this skinner mesh I really like, and the grease pencil I also really like. It's part of Blender that's actually, if you're an artist going into 3D from 2D, and then okay, the first thing you want to try is grease pencil, because that's also applied for animators. Grease pencil is really powerful in Blender, and that's the first step. You know, just doing scribble in Blender, and then but I found that also grease pencil with Sverchok, like Sverchok is like really powerful for generative, to create generative mesh or generative all kind of animations. There are endless of ideas out there, and sometimes I do feel stuck, but I believe there are so many ideas that have not been explored, and I think this is the beginning of big thing. If you're thinking about turning grease pencil and using the power of skin mesher together, you'll get some really interesting result. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this live noding. Let me know what you think. Give me some feedbacks, comments, and questions, and I'll have a look real quick. Thanks again for tuning in.